Hey YouTube, just coming to you guys real quick to address racism again. Okay, because what I've noticed is that a lot of people's argument as to how racism doesn't exist is that, slave owners don't exist, you didn't personally experience slavery, um, I don't feel that way. My grandparents didn't feel that way. We understand it, that a few generations have passed since slavery has ended. That doesn't mean that the system of racism ever changed. Like, okay, there aren't any slave owners. Yeah, and maybe you may not feel like you're racist, but you're still perpetuating a racist system because you don't even realize that it's there. Like like I said, the doctrine that America was built on still stands. It was never changed. Slave owners died. The next generation came, next generation, next generation, next generation came. But that the doctrine that the system was built on still stands. Nobody changed that. You get what I'm saying? Everybody kept on with the with the system that was put into place long before 1776. I know that now, reading the new Jim Crow guides. Like, I don't understand why people think that's an argument. Oh, slave owners no longer exist. Okay, but their beliefs still exist. What they started still exists. Nobody took the time to change that. That's why racism still exists. And I really hate that people could not really just be so blind, just so dumb to not see that. You really think, excuse me, because slave owners don't exist, that racism no longer exists. You really think that because I didn't personally experience slavery, I'm not still, feeling the ramifications of slavery? Do you not think it still affects me and anybody that looks like me? Do you not think that you're still perpetuating a system by thinking, oh well, I'm not racist. You feeling that a racist system is still in place is actually reverse racism. Stop using that word. People sound so ignorant. There is no such thing as reverse racism. The system still benefits one group of people and still disadvantages another group of people. That system is 100% still in place. That is why racism exists. So your great, 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 great granddaddy, who you have no problem saying, okay, maybe he was a little racist, maybe he owned a few slaves. Like, what he believed still exists. The doctrine that this country was signed upon still exists. After the slave owners died, the next generation didn't take the time to change it. The next generation after that did not take the time to change it, nor did the next, the next, the next. And here you are now complaining that because we see something that you don't see, it's reverse racism. You are still perpetuating the system. You are still not taking the time to change the system. That is why it still exists. What don't you get about that? I don't understand what people don't are like. That's crazy. That is crazy. Racism does still exist. Nobody took the time to change the system. That's why it still exists. And even today, you guys are making excuses. That's why it will continue to exist. You will continue to perpetuate the system because you will always feel like, well, that's not me. That's not me. That was a long time ago. Yes, they put it into place a long time ago, and we've done a very good job of keeping it in place. It is up to you. If you choose not to change it, it is you. It's become a subconscious thing to be racist. That's the thing. That's why people don't realize what the heck they're doing. And people who do realize make excuses. Well, black people do this, black people do that, black people do this, black people do that. We have to take the time. You would have had to take the time to change it. Not us, actually, because it's not our problem. We are affected by it, but it's not our problem. It's your problem. It's your system that has been put into place. You guys, white people, have the power. Hold the power. Still do. Since back then up until now, you still hold that power. It is not us who has a problem with you. It's you who have a problem with us. You absolutely need to take initiative to make a change, or you are absolutely continuing to perpetuate the system. Period. Period. So I don't want to hear any more about what there's that's reverse racism. I really don't want to hear that out of anybody's mouth. That's just so ignorant. That is just so ignorant. There's no such thing as reverse racism. It's not black people who set up any type of system, we have absolutely no power in this country. This is not our house. Remember I described racism as a house. The foundation is white, the walls are white, the escalator is white, but the broken stairs, that's reserved for the black people and people of color. This is not our house. We are here living in it. It is up to you to make changes. You guys have the power to no longer perpetuate this system. We don't hold any of the power. There's no way that we could be racist, let alone reverse racist. Does that even make sense? Who came up with that? Honestly, that's so ignorant. Does that even make sense to you? Reverse racism? How can that even... There can only be one superpower in place. The country isn't divided where there's two strong superpowers fighting to be on top. Black people and white people. No, we're not even in the competition. This is the white superpower on top. White foundation, white walls, white rooms up top. And we are struggling to get there to make changes. But honestly, people who enter the system with intent to change it, they themselves only end up being changed. They do, because the system is too powerful. The system gives them ultimatums, honestly. Very frequently, black people, have to compromise who they are. Black people enter the government and positions of power with the intent, I can make a change, I can do this, I want to make a change. They enter it with the desire to make a change, but realistically they can't, because they can only get so far, and then they would need to begin to compromise themselves. They are actually given these ultimatums subtly, and sometimes not so subtly. This is what we want from you, for you to be able to move up. What we want for you is to continue to perpetuate the racist system that has been in place. So we can enter into these positions of power, or attempt to enter into these positions of power to make a change, but honestly, we will never get there without compromising ourselves. That is just what it is. Even with all the black people that are ridiculously rich, the Oprahs, the Michael Jordans, the Jay-Z's, with all these people of color being as rich as they are, you would think that they would fund someone who could actually make a change, but that's what I'm saying. Oh, excuse me. There are a lot more rich white folks than there are rich black folks. And the rich white folks, they use their funds to elect officials that will continue to perpetuate the agenda. And, the Jay-Z's, the Oprahs, the Beyoncés, they could do the same. Excuse me. But these people themselves have compromised who they are to be successful. They could use their funds to get officials elected, but those officials won't actually be able to get very far in the system without being compromised. Like, we just don't have that type of power. We have the manpower. There may be enough of us, but we don't have the financial power. There aren't enough of us in positions of power to actually make a change, to actually get so high, to start changing laws, to start passing bills, to start doing these things. There aren't enough of us. And there aren't enough of you within the system who are willing to support us. People are much more content with leaving the system the way it is, making people compromise themselves to move up in the system. We can't do it. Like, we don't have the power. Even the richest of the rich, they don't have the power to put someone in a position that could actually make any type of change. They themselves don't have it. And there would need to be a lot more of us that are that kind of rich, a lot more of us being put into those, being supported by, being backed by someone with that kind of money, for a change to actually be made. So in that White House with the white foundation and the white rooms above, there may be 1 or 2 black people who actually made it. And that is not enough to make a change to the system. Because if they made any attempts to make a change, they would be out. They would maybe get an ultimatum, or maybe not. Maybe before they even got to those steps. All right, we'll let you use the white escalators, but you can't push that bill that you're trying to push. You gotta let that go. You can't push that bill that's gonna get more parks in the black neighborhoods, community cleanup, blah blah, whatever. You can't just go ahead and forget about that. Let that go. If you do, you're a shoo-in. You feel me? So you've already compromised who you are to get to the rooms up top, and you're not gonna go back. You're not gonna. Nobody, even people who go in with that intent. All right, I'm gonna be who they want me to be, so that I can get a little power, and then I can start making changes. But then when that actually happens and you do have a little bit of power, you realize that you really still don't have any power, because it is just you. Oh, now I'm in this position of power. Let me see if I can pass this bill now. I really can't, because I'm in a position of power, but it's not as if I hold all the power. That's what I'm saying. We never hold all the power. As much power as I have, there is an entire round table of people who hold the same amount of power that I do. So that means I'm absolutely going to be outnumbered. Like, absolutely. Not even, don't even have to think about it. Like, it doesn't matter. If we are sitting at a round table discussing this, I would be the only person with these thoughts in my mind. Everybody else who holds these positions, they will be thinking the opposite. So I still cannot make a change within my position of power. If I attempted to bring something to the table, I might be out of here. So let me just stay quiet and stay in this position of power. One day, I'll make a change, and here you go, your retirement comes up, and you have not made any changes. We don't hold any of the power as a whole. There may be a select few of us who have power, like I said, but there aren't enough of us that hold this amount of power to make any type of change, any type of effective change. Do you get what I'm saying? The system that began when white people came to the Americas to oppress Native Americans, the system that was in place that began the American slave trade, the system that was in place in 1776 when they signed on the dotted line, that system is still in place. Nobody Nobody has taken the time to change that system, and that's why the system is still the same as what it is. That's why the system is still racist. That's what you need to understand. So stop talking about your great, 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 great granddaddy who was a slave owner, or he's not here anymore. I don't believe what he believes. But guess what? What he believes is still alive and kicking. Because you didn't, your parents didn't, your grandparents didn't, all the way up back to your slave owner granddaddy. Nobody took the time to change the system that your slave owner granddaddy put into place. That's why it still exists. It means absolutely nothing. The civil rights movement, I can't say, I'm sorry, it means absolutely nothing. The fact that we have, because people like to use it as an excuse, what about the civil rights movement? Oh, Obama's black. That means absolutely nothing. We still do not hold any of the power. So there are no effective changes that could actually be made in our best interest. How could it be? I just wanted to break that down for you guys. Hope you get where I'm coming from. I implore you all, please, 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 just open a dictionary. People who like to throw the word racist and racism around, open up a dictionary. Like, I can't say read a book, because that's not how everybody learns. You know, maybe you should watch a video or something. But that's definitely one thing that you should at least get right. What the heck the definition of racism is, what the definition of prejudice is. Like, that's the first step. When I tell somebody, look up the damn definition, I want you to look it up. I don't want you to keep on telling me what you think it is. I don't want you to keep on telling me what you think it is. I said, look it up. And then I could actually take you seriously, and then we could actually sit and have a conversation. Because if you're sitting here talking about racist this, racist that, and you don't even know the freaking definition of the word, that is shameful. That's a damn shame. Why should anybody take you seriously? How am I even supposed to take you seriously? How am I supposed to be able to believe that you even understand where I'm coming from when you don't even understand where you're coming from? You don't even understand what you're talking about. You don't even understand the definitions of the word that you use, and that's shameful. That's a shame. Like, read a dictionary. That is the beginning. Like I said, not everybody learns with reading books, but you should at least crack open a dictionary. That's like a given. Maybe you don't want to read all the books that I've read. Maybe you want to watch a video. Maybe you want to listen to it on audio. But that is the very first step. Like, open a dictionary, find out the definition of racism, find out the definition of prejudice. Like, that's the very first step. You don't got to read the whole dictionary. Just find out those two different definitions so that you can understand what the heck you're talking about. Okay? And then we can sit and have any type of a conversation of substance. Like, what kind of foolishness? Are you really sitting here talking to me about racism? You don't even know the definition. I'm not. See, I'm getting hyped. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Later.